Okay, I think we'll get started. Thanks very much, everyone, for coming this morning, this beautiful day. It's ideal. So I want to formally thank you for coming today to Sam Lawrence Park. Of course, Sam Lawrence Park, named after one of the greatest Hamilton mayors ever, Sam Lawrence, with a great song written about him and all kinds of history with him. It's a super place to start our next phase of the McHattie campaign. This park was created at a time when elected officials thought big. They thought very big here in Hamilton. And they delivered big as well for all residents of Hamilton. It's a place where hundreds of thousands of Hamiltonians stood and looked over their city. A place where thousands and thousands of Hamiltonians brought visitors from other cities and other countries to show our very best face of Hamilton, to show them just how spectacular Hamilton is. And I can tell you, Hamilton is an incredibly spectacular city. It's one of the reasons I've chosen to run for mayor, this fantastic city, and my wife Elaine, my son Mitch feel the same way. As we look out over Hamilton this morning, I want everyone here today to be very, very proud of our city. It's important to be proud of Hamilton. We need to be proud of what's occurred here over the last 150 years, since we began a city, almost 150 years, and look forward to the next 150 years in front of us and the achievements that we'll gain at that point. It was once said that if something was made in Hamilton, if something was made in Canada, it was made in Hamilton with the manufacturing here. Industry has changed these days, and through that change, many Hamiltonians have had the wind knocked out of them. But we never give up. And we still won't. A new Hamilton is emerging, built on new industries, new developments, and new hope. We should be very proud of our past, and we should be very excited about our future. The new Hamilton needs a new mayor. I ask for your support in being the new mayor. Today marks the launch of the Brian McHattie 100-day neighborhood tour. There's 4 parts to that title. Number 1 is McHattie, that's me, Brian McHattie, the candidate for mayor. Number 2 is 100 days, 100 days across this great city. The 3rd is neighborhoods, very important neighborhoods. And the 4th is tour. And this is something that I didn't know. Did you know that Hamilton has almost 190 distinct neighborhoods? 190 distinct neighborhoods across the city. Over the next 100 days, I'll be visiting and touring every single one of those neighborhoods, meeting residents, listening to them, hearing what excites them, hearing about their future from their lips, and hearing what they think we need to do to get there, what they need to think a new mayor needs to do to accomplish those things. Hamilton's a big city, not just in terms of our stature across Canada, but in terms of geography. And we know that 60% of our city is rural. I'm going to be covering a lot of ground on this tour, but I'm in good shape. I've got lots of stamina, lots of desire, and probably most importantly, I've got a great campaign team that's going to take us all the way through this 100 days and forward to October 27th. I'm very excited about meeting Hamiltonians to talk about their city and all those different neighborhoods. I've even bought myself a new pair of shoes, a little different than the finance minister in Ottawa. These 100 days are going to be led by these shoes. And here we are here, beautiful blue shoes to go along with the campaign. And I got those shoes at Miller's Shoes downtown on James Street North. Brian Miller personally fitted me for those shoes, as he has done for so many mayors in the history of Miller's Shoes, as his father did and as his grandfather did almost 90 years ago when he started that business. Hamiltonians will be able to follow my neighborhood tour on my website at McHattie2014.ca. I'll be posting photographs and comments every day about my experiences. There will also be an interactive map showing neighborhoods I visited and where I'm heading next. You can also go online and invite me to visit your neighborhood when I'm in the area. A few months back, I announced the 5 key themes of my campaign. Since then, I've conducted an online survey of what Hamiltonians say they care about most in their neighborhoods and right across their city. The volume of response has been impressive. The content of the responses has been even more impressive. Those 5 themes again: stronger neighborhoods, smarter growth, healthier environment, more open government, and more jobs. I want to understand each neighborhood, what it's like to live there, what it's like to raise a family in those neighborhoods, what it's like to be a Hamiltonian in those neighborhoods. To understand the issues and opportunities so I can commit to helping all of those neighborhoods realize their full potential, and through those neighborhoods helping Hamilton reach its full potential. So the McHattie 100-day neighborhood tour starts here and now. As I said, I'll be visiting almost 190 neighborhoods over the next 100 days. No matter the name of your neighborhood, one name is shared by all neighborhoods: home. And your home deserves to be safe, strong, affordable, healthy, and vibrant. I can tell you, I can't wait to get started. 190 neighborhoods in front of me, and we're starting with Centermount today in the Concession Street neighborhood. Thanks very much for coming. And if there are any questions or comments or thoughts?
Will you be going door to door? How will the tour work?
The tour will unfold in a number of different ways. There are events underway in many of those neighborhoods. It's great summertime in Hamilton, so we'll be attending events that are already occurring in those neighborhoods to some extent. Other neighborhoods will be creating events around issues that we're aware of in those neighborhoods, and in each one of those neighborhoods we will be canvassing. We'll be going door to door to talk to Hamiltonians.
What's your goal? What are you hoping to learn from these visits to individual neighborhoods? I know you mentioned what it's like to live there, but is there anything over beyond that?
Well, I think the McHattie approach we've practiced in Ward 1 over the last 10 years has been a very collaborative approach, and we've done that through the online survey that we've done over the last 4 months or so. Great feedback from folks who are plugged in to respond digitally through the computer program. But it's really, really important to go door to door. I can tell you, having run 3 times now, this is my 4th election, there's nothing better than going door to door and understanding what Hamiltonians really think and believe, what their hopes and desires are, what they like, and they tell you what they don't like as well. You hear lots of that when you go door to door as well. So that's really the best part about this whole thing.
You have your 5 key themes. What have you heard from your online feedback so far?
Well, we just to give you a little feature on that, on the website itself, we have pulled together some of that information, and there's a video we've produced summarizing that data. But what we've heard is a couple of things that stand out. Healthier neighborhoods or safer neighborhoods, I guess, is what people have been talking about. So down in the lower city, we talk about one-way, two-way streets. Councils fought on that, as you know. Up here on the mountain, they're talking about speed in their neighborhoods, vehicles traveling too fast, and they're talking about some forms of slowing down that traffic, making it safer for their kids. And as well as seniors up in some of these neighborhoods as well, safer ways to cross the road. So that's an ongoing theme. People have talked a lot about the state of our infrastructure, specifically the state of our roads, and the many holes in our roads we see with this difficult winter as well. So I think we're hearing a lot more about investing in local roads in particular. So fair enough on Fennel, Mohawk, Main and King and James, streets like that, which we have done some investment in. People are talking about their local roads. They'd like to see more investment in their local roads. They're also talking about transit right across the city. There's a lot of folks that want to see more local transit in their areas so they can get around. I think there is really a vast interest in Hamilton in taking the bus, and many folks just simply don't have that opportunity. it's not there for them. It doesn't connect the proper way. If you live up here and you work at McMaster University, or you're a student, McMaster student, it's about a sort of hour and a half adventure to get down to McMaster University in the West End. Lots of those kind of situations people are talking about.
On transit, do you agree with the city manager's decision on the sexual harassment scandal?
Absolutely, Joey. We had to act quickly on that. In fact, I don't think we acted quickly enough, but we did act on it, and we needed to make some changes at the top. I have known Don Hull for many years, 10 to 15 years, and he's been a great transit manager. But in a situation like that, where that occurs, it's simply unacceptable, and we have to make changes, and you'll see more changes at HSR in the days ahead.
People sort of associate, everyone in the lower city knows who you are. People think of you as a West End guy. People downtown know you. Is this an attempt to sort of shed that?
In terms of the location here today, or the 100 days?
No, just this tour.
Yeah.
To broaden your appeal.
Well, I think that's really why I registered to run as mayor so early. If you remember, January 2nd, and we had our launch at the end of January, which is typically very early for a mayoral candidate or a candidate for any particular ward position. And the idea with that was to deal with that precisely, Samantha, to be able to move across the city, attend events across the city as the mayoral candidate, and to become better known in those areas. And I've been doing that over the last 4 or 5 months or so. And this is exactly the same thing. I don't think we've seen a mayor election where a mayoral candidate, particularly since amalgamation, who's actually committed to going to each and every neighborhood right across the city. I can tell you I was pretty surprised and a bit taken aback, I guess, by learning about the 190 neighborhoods and how the heck we were going to get around all those different neighborhoods in 100 days. But we've got the plan in place, and it's important to respect all parts of Hamilton and to get feedback from folks in all those different neighborhoods. So you're exactly right.
So Brian, from January to now, you've been across the city. I mean, you've been almost like a Where's Waldo type of person in every place. What have you learned?
Well, I think I've learned that amalgamation is still something that's in people's minds, and how they're still fiercely independent and fiercely supportive of the cities and the towns and the neighborhoods they have in different parts of the city. I've had the opportunity to visit Flamborough many times now, Waterdown in particular. Just last week, speaking to the Seniors Club who meet on Wednesday mornings at Scenic Park, and you know, they're saying that they don't think they've had the investment in Waterdown and Flamborough since 2001, since amalgamation, and they were talking specifically about a seniors facility, and they're aware of the Ancaster Seniors Facility, which just expanded the week before, and of course the Great Bernie Morelli Lower City Senior Center to go along with Sackville up top here. So they're looking for that kind of investment. And I've said to them, you know, I absolutely don't support de-amalgamation. I think that would throw us into total chaos, and it would be absolutely the wrong way to go. But the challenge and the goal that I have is to develop policy in such a way as it's got the flexibility to respect those different cultures, those different neighborhoods, and what they see as important in those areas. And we've seen some of that, surprisingly enough, through the latest school board situations where Councillor Masuda and Councillor Partridge, and I've had a chance to work with them, have found those local solutions to protect those areas. Of course, Councillor Masuda needs our help right now to invest in the Beverly area, and I think we absolutely need to.
So can you be all things to all neighborhoods, all communities across Hamilton? You're going to have to say no to certain points, or one decision will affect one neighborhood as opposed to another.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely the way it is. It's my own experience in Ward 1, where we've got Ainsley Wood neighborhood on one side of Main Street, Westdale on the other side, and we went through a very, very difficult school ARC process and the decision to close Prince Philip School, and I know that's been very, very difficult for that neighborhood. Just closed formally last week with the closure of school for the year. So in that case, we're hoping to invest in the community center, but we've also got Dalewood Rec Center, which is 1960s and needs about $7, $8, $9, $10 million investment. to bring it back and to expand that. At the same time, we've got the old Prince Philip School that could be a community center. So there needs to be creative solutions. In that case, probably a grassroots, bottom-up approach, the kind of thing they've done in Robert Land Center, the Eva Rothwell Center. So there will need to be different approaches in different neighborhoods. Because you're right, our capital funding is limited at this point in time, and that for me raises the big challenge in Hamilton, which is the revenue challenge, where we need to raise many tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars of new property taxes with new Hamiltonians, new folks moving to town, creating new property assessment, and that'll give us more funding to invest in those areas.
So that doesn't mean raising more revenue doesn't mean raising taxes?
No, absolutely not. We've already, as we know from residents, and I'll hear it today, I'm sure, door to door, is that Hamilton residential taxes are as high as they can be at this point in time. And council understands that. That's where the 1.3% tax increase over the last 4 years on average came from. So we really need to raise new revenue. So it's a question of reaching our growth potential here in Hamilton. The province talks about 100,000 more people in the next 12 years or so that need to come to Hamilton. In my view, we need to grow by 10,000 more people per year. And I was just enamored by the article in the Spec on the weekend by Terry Cook, which said precisely that. And that's exactly what we need to do to raise new revenue. This city's been stagnant from a revenue perspective for decades now, and that needs to change. Well, thanks very much, everyone. Appreciate it very much.